Good morning. I just finished chopping my green onions and now I'm looking around to see what may have been sprouted. Got a few little sweet peas that's come up finally. The squirrels got most of the seeds, but there's a few little ones sticking up there. And then we've got some carrots. I've got potatoes going. I planted these mid-February and we've got a good crop. I like to plant mine in containers. So over here into the greenhouse, my husband built me a cattle panel greenhouse the winter of 20. That was an activity he and our teenage son did for us, and this morning it's covered in dew. I guess it's a chilly one. It's kind of a mess in here. I haven't cleaned it up for the spring garden yet, but we overwintered some extra comfrey we had that we pulled out and separated. There's my mint, and then I bought a plant. It's a black-eyed Susan, and I'm hoping it will come back. I planted it there to do it, and he's got me some soil mixed up in a wheelbarrow so I can do some planting today. I don't know if I'll get to it. And then we have lemon balm. I started on the 17th of March, and spinach. I had the worst luck with spinach, but this year this started, praying it continues on. We'll see. And here's the remains of our lettuce that I've been eating on it quite a bit, and then that is a personal plant of mine. It was the last gift I gave my mom before she passed in 2012, and it comes back each year right around Mother's Day, and so it's a good memory. And then I need to harvest kale, and this is chard. And then these are just extras, and we did an experiment of we did our normal mix of soil, compost, and peat moss, but in place of the black cow that we normally do, we have rabbit manure, and it's done well. I've harvested quite a bit. I've got to harvest today, and what we don't use fresh I'll put in the dehydrator for powder. And we have the green stalk. There's spinach in there, and we've got a few strawberries coming through. And here I've got my tomatoes. They're big. They need to be up potted and trimmed, but I really enjoy having larger tomato plants when I put them out in the garden. This whole tray of 32 is Amish paste. And then, let's see here. This one is beef steak. And then I've got some marigolds, and I'm trying to do some leeks. And I guess I got a few basils back there. And I think these are more beef steak. I did. And then these I planted late. I did those on the 14th of February, and they're Arkansas Traveler. Some more kale that I need to transplant. I'm going to transplant that out in the raised beds that my husband's built me. And then this is parsley. And my celery just does not seem to be taking off, so I broke down and bought some starch. And lavender, and then a house plant this belonged to my husband's late mom. She passed, and she had that in her kitchen window trying to root it when she passed, so I took it. And then we've got rosemary and oregano. Trying the sweet potato in the dirt. We're trying that this year. The sweet potatoes that I have in the cup here, actually that same sweet potato up on the top I had in a glass jar with water, and it rooted, and this is what it produced. So I broke those off, put them in soil, and then decided to put the sweet potato in soil. And then I've got my Chicago cukes. A couple of the bunnies are having a breakfast from the leftover salad that the mites had taken over. Breakfast for the buck. Here's the chard that I harvested out of those barrels. And the last time I had this one, it filled this little 4-ounce container. So it takes a lot of chard to dehydrate into powder. But I add it into soup, stews. My husband likes it in his scrambled egg. I'm just putting it out here on the dehydrator. Some of the larger ones I'm tearing, but most of them I'm just stacking on top of each other and layering them up. I'll probably have to run the dehydrator twice today to get all this. So put the next layer on. And I've got these little sheets that I like to use. And I'll just continue on. I've got done. I'm going to dehydrate the chicken bones that I have, which is, it's 2 chickens, Cornish cross, that we harvested in January that I roasted up and cooked for us for supper. I like to cook 2 at one time because that helps, and I can just freeze the meat into portion size and grab and go for convenience meals. But here's what the chard looks like this morning. I dehydrated it overnight. I'm just gonna pop it in the Vitamix and turn it into. Today I'm gonna dehydrate the onion tops that I cut off yesterday when I trimmed my onions. I'm gonna pop them in the dehydrator just like I did the chard. Right on. Probably won't take near as long for these because since I had them stretched out and started drying on their own last night. But that's the next step. Put the dehydrator outside today since I was doing onion scapes and I didn't want to smell them while they were drying. Since I have a lot of chard that I'll still have coming off in the greenhouse, I decided to go ahead and get a pint jar to put this in since my quarter of jar was already full. And I can just keep adding to it. When you do blend them up, make sure you leave the lid on for a minute or so and let all the dust settle, or otherwise you get a face full of green debris. So let's see here. Here is 2 batches of 4 trays, and that's what I got, and we'll pour it over in here and see how much we get. Looks like probably another quarter pint. But like I said, I've got more chard that'll be coming off and I'll just add to it. I appreciate you watching. This is Jennifer from Log Cabin Bakery and Farm. Have a great day.